for these young children that we have. Amen. They have blessed us. The tragedy of looking back. I promise not to be too long. Don't have very much this morning. We really just want to celebrate our children today. Amen. Amen. The tragedy of looking back. We all know as human beings, we have a hard time of following rules. Well, it is very difficult for us at times to obey what we have been instructed. Well, because we have in ourselves something that tells us that we don't have to if we don't want to. Right. I mean, it is our nature to rebel once again because we are self-centered. Well, not only we're self-centered, but we are curious. We're so curious that we want to know what's going to happen. But sadly enough for us, there are some consequences. Well, either we can follow God's command or we can suffer the consequences. Y'all with me? Yeah. A hard head. I see somebody no older than me. Yeah. That was right on time, brother. Yeah. Sometimes we get so hard-headed. Well, we get so full of ourselves that nobody can tell us what to do. I mean, Mama, when she was here, she couldn't tell you. Daddy, when he's here, he couldn't tell you. I'm here to surprise you. God talks to you and you won't listen to what he has to say. We always want to do it on our own. Even our selection of coming to church. Well, we only want to come because we want to come. And when we want to come. I heard preachers say it, I can echo what he said. I would drug the church. I didn't want to come. Some days I was kicking and screaming. Some days I lost my shoes. Now today you got no excuse because you got more than one pair of shoes. But when I was growing up, all you had was one pair of Sunday shoes. You had a white shirt and a black tie, but that's all you had for Sunday. And so sometimes we try to hide that. But my mama said, no, you're going anyway. You have to obey. When God says obey, we need to obey. Because there is a tragedy of looking back. Listen, God, you know the text, God was preparing to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. But because God's love and his covenant with Abraham, he shared with Abraham what was going to happen. Yeah, y'all know the story. Abraham asked God to spare the city if there was 50 righteous could be found. But there was not 50 righteous. Abraham tried again and said, if it's 45, will you spare the city? He goes on and said, then 40. Trying to bargain with God. Then he says 30, and then he goes to 20. And finally, he asked God if he would spare the city if 10 righteous people could be found. All right. Y'all gonna pray with me? Amen. My brothers and sisters, not even 10 righteous could be found. But he tried to bargain with God on their behalf. And there's somebody in here this morning that's been trying to bargain with God. All right. Just a few moments ago, somebody struggled. Somebody tried to bargain with God. God, you know this is the last $2 that I have in my pocket, and I just can't do it. Can you just give me a break this Sunday? Trying to bargain with God. Abraham, the patriarch Abraham, tried the best he could and couldn't even find 10. Y'all gonna pray with me? What a tragedy. Not to find 10 in the whole plain. Not just in Sodom and Gomorrah, but the whole surrounding area couldn't find 10. Righteous. In the 19th chapter of Genesis, we find that the two angels arrived, and Lot, not knowing these two men, insisted they stay in his house. While at Lot's home that evening, the men of the city wanted Lot to send them out so they could have sexual relationship with them. The men even tried to break the door down, but the angels struck them with blindness. The angels then told Lot to gather up your family and leave because they were going to destroy the city. Y'all know the story, right? Morning comes, the angels tell Lot to hurry up and take his family away from the city, or they're all going to die too. But Lot hesitates, and the angels have to take hold of them and lead them out of the city. A lot of times we hesitate, even after God had warned us. We hesitate. People are dying every day because they hesitate. I watched the news the other day, and on the news they had said that, listen, I'm sick now. I got this ventilator. I'm all pumped up, and I wish I would have got my shot. Then maybe I would have had a chance. But he hesitated. Y'all gonna pray with me? Hesitation has caused all of us a lot of trouble. So we need to wait on God. You know the slogan, he may not come when you want him, but he's always on time. Sometimes with the wait on, not sometimes, but all the time, what to wait on God. His family wanted to stay in this miserable place so much that they hesitated until the angels had to grab hold to them and pull them out. How many fires did God pull you out of? How many times he has snatched you from danger? Many dangers, toils, and snares are already come. They tell him to flee and not look back in verse number 24. Then the Lord rained down burning sulfur on Sodom and Gomorrah. Everything around the cities was destroyed. And the text says, then Lot's wife, she looks back. She failed to do what she was told to do. The tragedy of looking back. My brothers and sisters, never get in your mind on doing something your way, regardless of what anyone else thinks. Even God. I mean, this morning, I tell you that the devil knows exactly how to tempt you. He knows what will trip you up. What you need to do is fight the urge of sin. Now, following that, the command of God, or you will suffer the consequences. You need to obey. Yeah. Jesus tells us in Luke 17:32, what? to remember Lot's wife. She's just an example to us. Remember what she did. Look at the text again. The text says, what? From behind him, she turned. A lot of things go on behind your. I know that today we're going to be leaving here. You'll be behind my back. You don't tell you what's going to happen. When you turn your back on your children, remember Lot's wife. Because nobody had to tell her what to do. She already knows the instructions to do. But she looked back. I mean, we need to remember the actions of Lot's in his family and what? Do just the opposite. I mean, don't hesitate. When God calls you out of a situation, don't hesitate, just get moving. Now, notice the angels told Lot that Harry and his family would die also if they didn't get going. But when God delivers you out of alcohol, when he delivers you from drugs, when he delivers you from borrowing from Evangelist Calhoun from Lodabar, don't look back on Lodabar. Don't look back on that terrible condition you just delivered you out of. Y'all gonna pray with me? But what did Lot do? Lot hesitated. He waited. He delayed. But the angels once again grabbed him by the hand, took him out of the city. They hesitated. They didn't want to leave. Even after hearing what was going to happen. In Colossians 1:13 we find God rescued us. It says, for he had rescued us from the dominion of darkness and brought us into the kingdom of the Son he loves. God has died on the cross for us. He has delivered us from our terrible dilemma. Don't look back. The tragedy of looking back can be detrimental to you. Once we're past that hesitation point and finally decide to do what God is telling us to do, we can't look back. Don't look back, my brothers and sisters. Keep ahead. As I get ready to close this little message, I promise I wasn't going to be here too long. But I just want to remind us there's a tragedy of looking back. I remember a story about these two little boys. One evening, they went to the movie theater. And when they got out of the movie theater, it had got dark. They tried to call Mama and them, but they couldn't get them on the phone. And so they decided they're going to walk all the way back home. And I said one brother was a little older than the other brother. He was a little bigger and a little faster. But before he got ready to go, they knew that there was a dark tunnel they had to go through in order to get home. Realizing that little brother was afraid of the dark. Realizing he was scared too. But didn't want the little brother to be scared, to see that he was scared as he was. So he stopped and looked back at the little brother. He said, well, Mom and him are probably worried about us now. But I think we better get on home. Now as we get ready to go home, you know we got to go through this dark tunnel. But I tell you what I want you to do. All I want you to do is hold on to my coattail. Don't turn back. Don't look around. Just keep on holding to my coattail. It's going to get dark. It's going to be some spiders. It might be some snakes. I don't know what we're going to encounter, but just hold on to my coattail. And we will make it home to Mama and them. So as they got ready to go through the tunnel, they started walking slow. They started walking fast. All of a sudden, the big brother took out running. He said, hold on, little brother, to my coattail. We will make it out of here. Finally, they made it out of the tunnel. The big brother looked back and looked at the little brother. All he was doing was laughing. How can you laugh? As we were trying to run through the tunnel, I was scared. I know you were scared, but I see you laughing. The little brother looked at him. He said, brother, I just did. I just obeyed what you told me to do. You told me all I had to do was hold on to your coattail. And that's all I did was hold on to your coattail. It wasn't my job to lead us out the tunnel. That was your job. And all I did, what I was supposed to do, was just hold on to your coattail. I'm trying to tell you this morning that all Lot's wife really had to do was hold on to Lot's coattail. It wasn't her job to look back to see if God did his job. All she had to do was hold on to his coattail. Somebody here today trying to do God's work, trying to do God's job. That's not your job. That's his job. It's not your job, but it's his job. Sick in the bed, you can't heal nobody, but I know he can. He can. He can. He can raise the dead. Ain't he all right? Ain't he all right? All you have to do is do what God says. Ain't he all right? The tragedy of looking back. Tragedy of looking back. I want to look back and see God on the cross. And I want to look back and see how they crucified him. How they laid him in a borrowed tomb. I just want to look back and see the third day he got out with all power in his hands. That he walks with me. He talks with me. He tells me on his own. Then I want to follow. Follow him wherever he leads me. Because that's my job. Is to follow. His job is to feed me. The tragedy of looking back. Doors of the church open. You may come as count baptism, may come by Christian experience. If I were you, I'll come yet while the blood run warm in your veins. You ought to come.
Oh, to his hand. All right. God done.
If he delivered you.
Oh, oh, to his hand. God done changed. Oh, be yeah, oh, things he can.
Would that be one?
Oh,
Would that be one? Would that be one?
Time is filled with swift transition.
Would that be one?
All the world unmoved can stand again. Build your hopes on things eternal. Oh, oh.
Doors of the church open.